all days. Been a road.
Exactly, and you ran that thing for a while there in that starting position. Then you eventually became a backup. Did you feel like you lost that position fairly, or you feel like they were trying to go in that direction? What you feel like about that?
That's the game. You gotta stay healthy in professional sports. You gotta stay healthy. So it don't matter how you play when you're out there if you ain't out there enough.
Right.
So that's what really started happening to me. Me getting banged up and getting injured allowed someone else to be thought of, the opportunity. That's what it really came down to. There's a lot I could have done different, a lot I could have done better. Obviously, it was a difficult situation. Obviously, I was the youngster out of all the situations, right? I'm the kid in it, but at the same time, I sit back and look. I could have done things differently, but you got to be healthy. You got to stay, and that's doing the things you got to be to stay healthy. You know what I mean? Doing those things, knowing what those things are, really. A lot of it we didn't know. We just worked out and trained. You know, these guys now, they got all the information. You coming from where we come, you don't have the information.
Right. And then D.C. have a notorious reputation for our disposition, our attitude, how we look at things, how we carry it. Do you think at that time, as you being younger, any of that played a role in some of the decisions you made or didn't make?
Nah, because I was never like that.
Okay.
I knew how to bite my tongue for the
better good.
The better good, yeah. Right. I was never that dude. I was never emotional like that. So I was never emotional. By that time, I already knew the world had showed me that it was going to be some things that work your way. It's going to be some things that don't work your way. You got to learn how to move in this situation. I knew I was in a new situation, and I knew I never wanted to be the one that they can say that about. That they can say this, they can use that. So I thought of that all the time, even though when I'm right? So it's not about right or wrong. It's not even about fair or unfair. It's about the situation you in, how you handle that situation. So I was aware of that. I was aware that I never really was emotional like that. And anybody know me will tell you I ain't really never act like that. I ain't never really had outbursts, things like that. I just gonna tell you how I felt.
Keep moving.
Then,
you know, with a whole one to fold them.
Yeah.
And then you go to Pittsburgh, you land in Pittsburgh already coming to be a reserve or backup, whatever you want to call it. What's the mindset, preparation for a game, going as a starter and going as a backup? What's the mindset difference?
The prep is no different because in my mind I was getting ready to play because I felt as though I was going to play every game. So I trained that way during the week. I felt as though I was going to get in of some sort. I knew Ben from college. Ben played against each other in college. So, and me going to the Steelers is actually the best thing that actually happened to me really in my career because I was at the right space and the right time for all the stuff that happened there that happens for me to take it in and for me to learn from it. Obviously, when I get there, I still want to be a starter. Things didn't go well for me in Jacksonville. Now I'm at Pittsburgh, but now I'm on the team that's right to win the Super Bowl. So now I'm seeing what it looked like. I'm seeing the building, how the coaches operate, how the cooks, how the everything operate within the building, how the owners operate. Because my only experience is with Jacksonville. So now I go from Jacksonville to Pittsburgh. So now I'm gaining a whole different experience. Now I'm watching a building or organization really go about really trying to win the Super Bowl. But I'm seeing it. I'm watching it. So I'm seeing it, I'm watching it. Being there playing for Mike Tomlin, I tell this all the time, being there playing for Mike Tomlin was changed a lot for me to see my first African-American coach, to see the way he go, I'm talking about from in profession, you know what I mean? To see the way he went about it, to see the respect that he had for the players, the way he treated the players. I was for that. I was really about that. And what it got out of the players, how that organization really get everything they can out of the player because there's one goal, and that's winning the Super Bowl. And having that experience to see that and see how they operate, and then we won it. I was like, oh, yeah, that's how you do this.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do this. And I learned so much just in my time there, being around just the front office, the coaches, the people in the building. You see how it's really supposed to be ran if you're really trying to get the job done.
You got a Palomar there. You got
so I'm seeing all these great Hall of Fame players. You know what I mean? I've seen Emmanuel Sanders, Antonio Brown, Santonio Holmes, Mike Wallace. Them was the receivers. Antoine Randall, Wody, Hines Ward.
He was loaded.
So you know what I mean? I'm seeing teams really built for then that defense that they had.
Right.
So in Jacksonville, we had D. We just wasn't good enough on offense. Maybe I wasn't good enough on all. We as a quarterback, or we wasn't good enough on all. But we always had D.
Right.
But to see the one in Pittsburgh with D, and it be built around Ben with those players, Heath Miller, Willie Parker, Rashad Mendenhall.
And that Harrison, man, was Slim really crazy. He had a little eye, like he go hard, man.
Yeah, Debo went hard, and I played against him in college because he was playing against me and Ben. He went to Kent State.
Okay.
With Josh Cribbs and them.
Okay.
So we played against him in college. Right. So I knew all about him. I knew all about him when I got there, and by the time I got there, he was older than me. So you start really seeing him into his own.
Right,
and when we played against him in college, we approached him like he was Debo.
Right, yeah.
You know, in college. So when everybody else got to see that version of it in Pittsburgh, I was really kind of happy for him because he's from the conference I'm in.
Right.
He's from the MAC. So I'm like, yeah, go show it. Go show how we get down in the MAC that we could play football because you from a mid-major. You rooting from everybody that come from the mid-majors. You want to see them do well. So to see him do well live and in person and to see how he went about it, how he trained, how he worked out, how he got ready for football, that was good to see.
Right. What makes a good quarterback?
Just the ability, for one, you got to be able to process information. There's a lot happening, Bone, in a short period of time. There's a lot happening.
Right.
And if you can't process information and if you can't react instinctively, it's going to be tough for you on Sundays when you're trying to play on Sundays. You may get through Saturday football with it, but Sunday football is going to be tough because the people you're playing against, right? You're going against the biggest, fastest people, guys 6'7", 275. You got 2.1 seconds to get this ball out your hand, and the guy's not open.
Right.
But the three technique's free. And all this. So all this is happening every play. And the decisions you make within when it go well or when it don't go well really determines what quarterback can play and which cannot play.
So from the time you get it from the center in your hand, how much time you got for that to be out your hand for a dude be all over you?
You're gonna be 2.1 seconds. That's on a good day. That's what I mean. But okay, Warren Sapp's over there.
Right.
Oh, Aaron Donald's over there. So he swims your guard in the first 0.4 seconds of that.
Right.
He's running clean. You got him like this coming. Right. And now you got a decision to make. And all those decisions really determines who can play and who can't play. Because those moments coming. Like no coach, no nothing can prevent football from happening. Football gonna happen.
Right.
So somebody gonna come free, somebody gonna get beat, somebody gonna miss an assignment, somebody gonna do something wrong. That's the game, right? You got 22 people out there at one time. And it's going like that. And the people that can process it in those situations and that type of stressful situation and still make the right decision. You may sometimes your only decision is to take a sack, right? But that's your only decision. That's the right decision. So you just want to take the right decision. You may not always get the right result, but the quarterback position, you can lose the game so quick there that you got to be able to make tough decisions in tough moments.
Right, okay. Man, and then you end up, you played 10 years in the league, exactly, right? Nice league, man. You know, was successful financially. When did you know you was going to be a coach? What moment you knew that?
I never really did it, but I knew it. BA called me one time. I was on the golf course, to be honest with you, struggling off the tee. Couldn't hit the ball that day for some reason. BA called me like, hey, man.
BA is?
Bruce Arians.
Okay.
He was out Arizona at the time.
Right, okay, yeah.
He was out the head coach out Arizona. He was like, hey, man, I want you to come see this. Because he was in Pittsburgh. When I went to Pittsburgh, he was the offensive coordinator. When I went to Pittsburgh, Bruce Arians was the offensive coordinator. So he's out Arizona now. He's the head coach.
Right.
He's like, man, I think you'll be good at this. I think you'll be great at it. I want you to come out here and see it. And I was like, nah, I ain't coaching, you know what I mean? Right. And I was struggling one day, and I was just, all right, let me go out there. And I went out there. He's like, just come out here and see it. Nothing, just come see it. And I went out there, and I first get there, they run me upstairs, the lady walked me up, they in the meetings. And they're watching film. I meet everybody, introduce myself to everybody, so I go sit, like he's sitting right here at the head of the table, I go sit in the corner by him. And he hitting it, and he said, he cut the tape on, and he had paused, and he said, hey, tell me what you see. Don't be over there, be quiet, let me know what you see. And then hit play. And then from there, I was hooked, really.
So you was chiming in what you see?
Everything I saw. Right. And I was in there, I was there for 10 minutes. Just because I knew him. I knew how he see it. I knew how he called it. And I'm just telling him what I see from over here. Right. And he was like, and then I remember being there 2 weeks, and he was like, hey, we was in the cafeteria. He was like, hey, let me know what I need to do, but I ain't letting you go home. So who I need to call, what I need to do, who I need to call. And I was like, man, I'm in. And we really left it at that. And I was just there. I didn't really have no job title. I was just really there. He just put me in the quarterback room, and I was just sitting there, because I wasn't a quarterback coach at the time. And then over time, Carson Palmer was the quarterback who came out with me in the same draft. So me and him came out in the 03. He was the first pick. I was the 7th pick. So he's there. So me and him had already had a friendship because we was in the draft together. I mean, at the
USC.
Yeah, he was at USC. So we was at New York together at the draft. So you know what I mean. We had knew each other well enough by that time to where as though we had some sort of relationship. And then from there it got rolling. The next year he made me the quarterback coach, and then went to OC.
You had that bug after that.
I was hooked once I went out because I'm a football. Anybody that know me, like I said, we made the plays at Evans. Me and Big Jeff came up with the offense at Evans. You know what I mean? And I've always done that. That's why I look at a lot of this stuff. Like I remember intramural, we was at Shad. We used to have intramural football games, right? But my team, we used to draw plays. I used to draw plays. It's crazy. I used to draw plays back then. Like, this is what we running.
Right off the break.
Off the break. And you see it play out now, and it's funny.
Do you think playing the game, a coach that had prior experience playing the game versus a coach that didn't play the game, do you think there's any vantage point either way?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, we call Bill Belichick the best coach ever, right? And I don't think I don't know how well he played, right? But he'll go down probably as the best coach ever.
I'm joking for the record.
I get that, though. I get that, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? That's what it'll go down. So I think me playing the position helps me, meaning I understand those decisions. I can watch on tape and see why a quarterback does certain things that he do. It's body language. I can watch him and see what he's actually thinking on tape. I know why certain quarterbacks make certain mistakes. I know some of them were forced, or some of them was that's just football. Or as a coach, I can help him in that situation because that's a tough situation to be in. I can't put him in that situation, and if I can keep him out of that situation, that result won't happen. So you understand that because I played it. I played it. I did it. I know that feeling when that 3 techniques free. My guy's about to get open. I got to hold that ball. And the decisions you got to make. All those things you learn. So I use it. But to say it's truly gives you an ultimate advantage over anybody, I wouldn't say that. But it helps me. It gives me the understanding because I don't have to guess. I don't have to read a book to figure it out. I know it because I did it and I got experience at doing it. So I don't need, my father didn't teach me that or tell me something. I experienced that whole thing myself. You see what I mean? I went through it myself.
Out the park, niggas know me. Curtbone, little homie. All days, yeah. Been a road.
Thank you for watching Changing Jewels on Curtbone TV. If you like the jewels that we are dropping, subscribe, hit the notification, and share with some friends. And I see you on the next episode of Changing Jewels, Curtbone TV.